It's very real. And the job for me to do today is to help you manage this anxiety or fear. And when I say manage, I don't mean that you have to overcome it. Because I think this feeling is really difficult to get rid of. You cannot really overcome it. Besides that, I think anxieties actually would help us in the presentation because of this nervousness, it would push you to prepare a better presentation. But if you don't really care, like let's say if you get rid of the anxiety or the fear all along, that means that you don't really feel anything about this presentation anymore, then you wouldn't put into your most effort into delivering your presentation or speech or a sales pitch. So actually, anxiety is a good thing, but we just have to manage it so you would not feel, that counter effects that really brings down your productivities when you deliver a speech. So let's take a look at this. Fear of Public Speaking by Mark Twain. There are two types of speakers, those who get nervous and those who are liars. So what that means that when people tell you that, no, I don't really get that fear, or I'm not afraid of speaking in front of a large group of people, it's actually a lie, because even for me, I've done hundreds of speeches in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people. The thing is that every time when I walk out, even with the topic that I'm really familiar with, I always get nervous. It's because of that judgment that I worry what other people might think of me that makes me nervous. Okay, so I keep thinking like, oh, what if this happened? What if they think of me this way? So all those things that are going on in our mind, it's really difficult not to feel nervous. But that nervous level actually gives me to perform better. So those people who say that they don't feel nervous or they don't feel anxious about presentation, chances are they are liars, okay? Because they would probably reframe their mind to feel the nervousness into something else. They may say that, oh, I'm not scared, I'm excited, okay? But still, that's some form of, anxious or anxiety. But it's a good thing that, they see it in the different ways. They don't feel scared anymore, they feel excited. That's called reframing your mind. But whether or not they feel like excited or nervous, it's hard to get rid of this feeling. So let's take a look at the symptoms. Everyone has different levels of symptoms or experience different levels of symptoms. So for some people, when I first started teaching or coaching, nausea is one thing that I feel very, very strongly. That's headaches, or you get that dizziness, like a discomfort in your head. And it's quite common because just when you're sitting down there and people introduce you and you have to walk up to the stage or to the front of the crowd, then it's that moment, just a few seconds, and you'll feel like, oh my gosh, it's happening, what can I do? So you feel like a lightheaded, or you feel dizzy, you feel headache. Then that's the top symptoms that you will get, okay? Dry mouth. Okay, I never really got this before because I always drink water and hydrate myself before a presentation. But some people, don't have the chance to drink water or take a sip of water before, then they would experience dry mouth because they're so nervous. Their breath gets shorter, shallower, and the mouth gets really dry and it's very difficult to talk. Sleep loss. Okay, so it's not really a problem for me because I don't really sleep much anyway, but for some people, they get so nervous, they can't really fall asleep the night before the presentation because they're so worked up on the moment. So when you don't sleep enough, chances are you will not perform at your 100%. And that would be a bad thing. So what can we do about it? I'm not a doctor, as you can tell, but what I want you to do is that, just do your normal things. And if your presentation has value, this is what I always tell my students. If whatever that you're presenting has a great value, then you should not worry about it. Only thing you have to worry about is how to share this value and how to let your audience feel the same way you feel about your message. And that's all you have to do. And you shouldn't be so nervous that you cannot fall asleep, okay? But you will experience that if you're the type of person who gets nervous quite easily, then sleep loss is quite common. But don't try to take any medications to help you the night before you perform or to give that presentation, because you might feel worse the next day. And next one, headaches. Same thing as nausea, because sometimes you feel headache, dizzy, headache. Okay, those are the things that it's really common for people to feel. Dizziness, lightheadedness, or you just get that migraine or pain in your head. And next one, stomach discomfort. I never really get this before, but I know that for some people, it's very easy for people to get stomach ache or diarrhea just right before they do something with high stress level. For example, taking exams or going to a meeting or that you have to present. Then they get so nervous, their stomach really feels that pain, okay? All right, so next symptom, you get increased perspiration, okay? So some people get, perspiration means sweating, okay? Some people get sweaty forehead or like start sweating for no reason, but for the reason that you're so nervous, or it's like a sweaty palms. So that's perspiration that really makes you feel discomfort. And the reason why we sweat is that genetically our body is designed, okay, as prehistorical time, that when we get nervous, we have to start running from danger. Okay, for example, from that saber-toothed tiger or some, lions or something, that you have to start running. So your body is preparing yourself. So it starts to sweat, okay? Start to release the heat from the body so your body can perform. So this is actually biological reason that we start sweating so we can start running away from the situation. So if you get nervous, your body will respond in the way that it's fight or flight. Okay, fight or flight means that it's whether either you stand there and start fighting or you're gonna run away. So that's pretty interesting, right? Okay, next one. Number 7, tense muscle. Of course, same thing. Your body starts sweating and your muscle gets tense because you're ready to fight or flight. Either choice, either response requires your body to act in a way that it has to be. You need like some kind of physical performance now. So you need a tense muscle for that reason. So your body will feel like a very tense, and then you're like a feeling kind of like a nervous, and you start like a moving around, or you get really worked up and very uncomfortable feelings. So those are the things that genetically are built in our body. And number 8, shortness of breath. Okay, so that means that your breathing pattern becomes really shallow. Okay, so you have to control. So that is why a lot of people tell you that if you want to feel less anxious, you have to start taking deep breaths. Okay, so you have to start inhaling and exhaling with deep breath to calm yourself down. That's actually a very effective way to calm yourself down if you feel anxious when presenting. So you have to control your breath. Very, very important. because that there are ways that we can think to trick our brain to feel comfortable, okay? And breathing is one of them. Because if I tell you that, oh, don't worry, it's just a presentation, just take it easy, calm down, those words doesn't work. But breathing works. Because when you breathe, your mind will calm down really quickly. So try it next time when you feel nervous, when you feel like your breath becomes really shallow and very short. That means that, okay, that's time to take control and take a deep breath several times to calm yourself down. Same thing as perspiration, sweaty palms. So keep yourself cool. Hold something cold. Hold objects that will keep your body temperature low, okay? Because you're feeling hot, okay? But muscle tense, you can't really do anything about it. But I know like some famous speakers, just right before they present, they do push-ups, okay? Not on the stage, but behind the stage. Because when they do push-ups, they get that muscle to tense up. So in our mind, we know that, okay, we're doing push-ups, so our muscle is tense for this reason, not because we're nervous. So you're getting yourself pumped up and ready to go. So that's a way to trick our brain to do something. But just by telling yourself that, it's okay, just calm down. Or other people will come to you and say, that's okay, just calm down. Those things doesn't work. Same thing as like, a lot of times when we feel upset, and some people will come to you and say, you don't have to think that much. Just take it easy. When you hear those words, sometimes you just want to punch that person in the face because they have no idea what you're going through and how you feel. Just by telling you that makes no difference in the situation, right? So same thing, you have to trick our brain. Number 9, increase heart rate. Same thing as what we're talking about is all genetic, it's all biological. Okay, our hearts start pumping because we're ready to fight or flight. So breathing would help slow down your heart. Okay, so take deep breath, slow down your heart rate, calms yourself down, and you will stop sweating. Okay, all those reasons are because we are some sort of we are animals. So if you want to survive in the nature, sometimes our body has to react. Our brain is helping us in the situation in the prehistorical time. If there's danger, our body has to prepare before we reason ourselves and say, should I fight or should I not? Okay, but our mind, our brain tells us that, okay, let's just get ready before the owner of the body decide whether or not they want to continue fighting or they want to run away. So that's the reason, okay? And then increase blood pressure, same thing, okay? So same thing, like with all this physical reactions that you see in the symptoms are all related to each other. So the first thing that you can do is to control your breathing. That would help a lot. It would help a lot more than what we're going to discuss. But what we're going to discuss today is just equally important besides breathing. Okay, so the situation is that we have to manage our anxiety, because when we say manage, I don't use the word overcome quite often when we talk about anxiety, is because that there's really difficult, like there's really no way for anyone to get rid of anxiety in situations that has high stress level. Okay, it's gonna be there. Okay, we can tell ourselves that, okay, everything's fine, but really, when you look at the reality, the problem is still there. The issue is still presenting itself right in front of you. So by telling yourself that it's not going to be scared, okay, it's not going to be scary, or it's going to be excited. Sometimes it's just not enough. You know what I'm saying? So you have to try to manage your fear. So breathing is one way to manage.